signage on your front door. Now, everybody's got a different type of front door. Now, some of you are upstairs and not having shop fronts anymore, and that's okay. I reckon that's a really cool thing. But some people still have shop fronts. You still, it doesn't matter where you're situated, whether you're working from home, whether you're working from an upstairs office, somewhere external to your office, conspicuously outside your registered office, you need to actually have a display of your details. Okay, this is section 29 of the Property and Stock Agents Act. Now, the common question I keep getting is, oh, Rosie, did that all change? We don't have to do that anymore after March, when all the legislation changed last year, do we? Yeah, you do. This section did not change. It's still section 29. It was 29 before, it's 29 now. And it's still about that we must have a display of our business name in our registered office. So we have to have the licensee's name and description as a licensee and a description of the kind of licenses held by the licensee. That's part 1 of section 29. So it's telling us what we actually have to have on there. So licensee's name. Now, the licensee is the corporation. It's also the individual. Okay, so we've got to look at this from both angles. So it then goes on to say, in addition, a licensee that is a corporation, so is a proprietary limited company, must display legibly and conspicuously, so you've got to be able to see it, outside the corporation's registered office. So think about where you're situated. So most people who have a shop front put it in some formal letter writing right down on the ground level, but in print, not huge. Doesn't have to take over your sign or your fact that you're awesome and showing off your properties. That's not the point, but it needs to be outside the office. It also needs to have the name of the person in charge of the corporation's registered office, okay? And outside any other place of business. So if you've got more than one office where your organisation is functioning as a corporation and where you're carrying on business, then it needs to be on the outside of each one of those premises. Now, remember, the changes that did come about last year were that you could be the licensee in charge of more than one physical office or one geographically located office. So, you obviously you still need to prove that you are appropriately supervising those 2 offices or 3 offices or 52 offices, however many you've got there. But it needs to be outside. So you need to have the corporation, you need to have the licensees, and then it says you need to have the licensee in charge. Now, there's a little bit of debate here about whether you should have every license holder on your door now or external to your office. So, this could be one of your window display, as if you still have the old style of property window displays, or you could have it, flashing up on your screen as it rolls through some of your screens, however you do it. I mean, it's an awesome marketing tool, I think, a PR tool, saying these are all our licensed agents. Here's Rosy Sullivan, and she's a licensed real estate agent, mugshot of, who your agents are. It's actually putting you out there as a professional outfit in terms of the organisation, the functions and the services that you're offering to clients. So really good option there in how you're doing that. So you need to make sure that, and as I said, there is some contention there, and it's about, but it does say licensee. Okay, so when you're dealing with it does say licensee, then you would say every person who is licensed is actually a licensee. They're not the licensee in charge, they're not the corporation license, but 29.1 talks about a licensee must display legibly and conspicuously. So you can play around with that one, but why bother? Just put everybody who's licensed on the door and do it from a PR perspective so you can feel good about you're actually getting something more out of it than just compliance. So you're compliant, you got some PR, get on with doing your job in terms of listing and selling and managing properties. So that's probably your best option there. Enough about signage on your front door. Promise you I'll probably talk about it again in 6 months.